All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are live. Welcome, everybody.
Live again.
Christine Morgan. Welcome, Sarah Drew. How are
Thank
you,
you.
Sarah Drew?
I'm great. Excited to be here.
Yeah, what'd you think of Couples Ride Series Episode 2?
What did I think?
What did you
I
think?
loved it. I thought we killed it.
What makes you say that? What is killing a ride series, Couples Ride Series episode in your mind?
When you don't kill each other, you killed it.
No, it was Breckenridge is awesome.
Yeah.
I truly love Breckenridge, and that trail was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I like that we got to, I think I wrote it, I guess once before we did filmed.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate when I get to ride. I know what we're filming.
Yeah.
That definitely makes a difference.
Well,
for me, I mean, being a new
anybody.
Rider, I'm not a natural like these boys at A, riding, or B, filming, and so there's just more nerves involved when it's a new place and we're filming. So
yeah, so the trail y'all were running what was that one rated? Just out of curiosity, were y'all running a blue? That's what it looked like.
if it's it might be a blue, but it
looked like one.
Pretty mild.
Yeah, it's
a very
easy.
mild.
Blue. It's a mild blue. I mean, there was some chunky stuff, but
yeah, that rocky section looked a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
It's tricky for like coming from here. It's tricky, just because even just with like the roots and stuff, you're picking a line all the time, which is not something I have to do here. And so even just to get through a section which might not be like treacherous, but it's just still more technical.
So and
I saw you get out of the saddle like a pro.
So we've been working on that for a while, and she got that. Thank you, Marcus. She did. She was crushing it through the chunk. Now, let me kind of bring something up that is tough. But so we went to Mount Nebo for the Arkansas River Valley Bike Fest, and we planned to shoot another Ride Series Couples episode there. And we started to shoot it, and dude, where we were at in our cabin, the trail was right behind it. And so somebody said, dude, the trail's right there. And I think she said, yeah, that's 4C or whatever. So we go
3C.
out on the 3C. We go out on this, whatever. We go out on this trail and we start filming. And dude, we're pressed for time because we had to do the Ride Series Super Stunt Show later that day.
Super Stunts.
The Super Stunt Show. So dude, we go out and we start filming. And all of a sudden we come to this spot where, dude, it comes down, it makes a left-hand turn, and it steps down like 3 stair steps 8 or 9 times. Like, it's not gnarly by any means, but it was pretty spicy for her. And so
like in the left-hander, the stairs or the steps are happening?
Yeah, dude.
Like a 90-degree angle.
Yeah, it was at least a 90, like a rolling 90 with a bunch of little stair steps.
Yeah.
So anyways, I said, oh, this is perfect. This is where we're going to stop. And like, this is where the tech zone is going to be. Well, then Andy had to go get the mics. And so he had to run back. So she's just sitting there looking at it, just building it up in her mind. And I'm thinking, oh boy, this is going to be bad.
Well, okay.
That's bad.
Well, so when we film them, we obviously want to capture what's really happening. Right. And so I have all these thoughts going on in my brain and I'm getting nervous, but I don't say them. Like I'm just sitting there keeping them to myself. He's like, don't say anything. And I'm like, but like, I just want to get some advice. And he's like, just wait. Wait.
I'm trying to keep her from saying
That's
anything.
gold. That's gold. You got to get that. You got to capture that.
So we talk about it and they're trying to set up. And so it's Andy and Brock filming together and you know, they don't want to be in each other's shots. And I told them, I don't care. Be in each other's shots. I just want you to capture this. And so they set it up where Andy's going to get the entry and then Brock's going to get like mid-turn a few more feet and then Andy will pick it back up when he pulls focus for a longer shot. And dude, I was down below and she came in with a head of steam and I'm like, oh, it just blasted down it. The whole thing. And I'm looking at her, I'm looking at those guys and Brock's shaking his head because he missed it. Like he was trying to keep up and he couldn't keep up. He goes, dude, she's going way faster than I thought. And we looked at the shot and actually it turned out really good. And so then I asked her to do it again, and she said no.
That's funny.
I don't want to press my life, but also
one and done, kid. One and done.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that. I'm like that sometimes.
And I don't know. I didn't think about it in the moment, but like as we're talking through it, Andy was standing. I think was it Andy standing right at that corner? And what I was most nervous about was like not making the corner. And if I didn't make it, I would have ran into him and his camera.
That's what happens.
So I guess maybe any like time I'm nervous of a turn, if I could just have a camera person there, I'll avoid them. And
so anyways, we were rushing to try to get the shots and it just wasn't working. So then we said, okay, that's fine. We'll just finish tomorrow afternoon. We had clinics to do. We were done at 3. So the plan was we'll finish tomorrow. It's a beautiful place. It was going to be rad. So then we go to the super stunt show, and what happens?
Dex was being Dex and running around, and he was on the landing ramps or the landing wedges or whatever. After they jumped out of the car, they landed on the other side. And I didn't know if he saw him on there. So I went to run after him with like a crepe in my hand and a drink in the other hand. And I stepped off a curb right into a hole and twisted my ankle, and like everything went flying. I screamed expletives in front of all these families, and all I could do was lay there on the ground. And so the next day, my ankle's as swollen as can be. And
so, dude,
Rich, did you go back and pick up those treats?
No, the ants got them. Dude, I got the mic in my hand. I'm trying to entertain this huge crowd, and then it's my turn to jump. I go through it all, and I come back, and I'm looking at her sitting there with ice on her leg with some new friends. I'm like, I don't understand. So.
Do you know what it made me think about, Rob? It made me think about whenever Kristen got in the accident, when he went to go save the day at the car accident.
Oh boy!
And the ambulance was like,
let me tell that story.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. I thought you would enjoy that one.
Oh my God, that's a great one.
Not a big boy MTB. What's up, dude? Glad you're here.
Hello.
Saying hi to you. We don't need to tell that story, Rob. Let's not tell us.
We got to save that. Jared, remind me to tell that story one day about Rich and his cape. Rich and his cape. I think he has it folded up in a closet somewhere right now. He hasn't brought it out in a while, but
yeah, it's always the dumb things that get people hurt.
Yeah, it's a funny one, and it got me very hurt. So we didn't get to film that, but we still episode 3 was from Spider Mountain, and that was a pretty fun one. So that's coming up pretty soon.
So who's editing that one? Is that all?
That's Andy.
I want to see that one too. That's a cool place. Sarah, what did you think about it?
I thought it was a lot of fun. I wish I had more time there. I wish, again, it was one of those situations. I'm newer to all this. And so we show up and got in at 2 a.m. on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
And we were up and ready to film and, at the mountain at 8. And I feel like this is like a lot of excuses, but I injured my ankle a while back, and then we were traveling. I just haven't ridden a lot. And so to instantly be in a position where I'm like at the top of a lift.
I could write this
and
she's high maintenance is what she's getting at.
I mean, it's okay. I remember when I was out there the first time we went, it was a little intense at first. Like even itsy bitsy, I was like, wow, this is a lot more than what I'm used to. So yeah, I get it.
I've ridden at a couple of bike parks before, and it was great. But during those times, I feel like I was riding more consistently. So I think Spider Mountain was awesome. I think it'd be a lot more fun I'd love to go back and get to ride more of the trail.
What was your favorite?
What was the one with the berms all the way at the bottom? That we worked on this.
Oh, there's a new one.
The
Sidewinder. Yeah,
I haven't ridden that.
Yeah, It's fun, dude. It was fun, and she slayed this one section of berms. So it was great. What did I tell you, Rob? You're going to appreciate this. So she's been having a lot of issues with berms. What did I tell you to help alleviate it?
Well, in that moment, I mean, you give me a lot of tips along the way that in the moment I might not make the connection, but then, like a few days later, a week later, when I do what you say, I'm like, oh, that's what you mean. Like, and I feel what feels right. So in that instance, it was, you're going to hate when I say this. If I was like berming to the left and I was steering like with my right arm
to the left.
Berm
to the right.
Like guiding with my inside arm. Instead, I was like trying to turn, I guess, instead of.
Yeah.
So he was.
She was putting too much pressure on the outside hand. So when I told her guide with the inside hand, it was like, and what was
funny. It made a huge difference.
We're sitting in this section, switchback after switchback, and I can't figure out what to say to Sarah. But as we're sitting there, all these people are coming through, and they're doing the same thing. And so I realized, all these people are putting way too much pressure on the outside, and it's making them all wonky. And so I told her, and she was a different person after that. So
I can't wait to try that. I never put thought into it. I just kind of do it. So maybe that'll help me. We'll see.
So that's one of the things that when I talk about, I tell everybody, when you're turning, only think of 2 points of contact that matter: the inside hand and the outside foot. If you just think of those two, everything will take care of itself.
Well, and another thing that's a good idea is if you look to the exit point, then you can set your turning radius correct instead of oversteering, understeering, which is what that ends up looking like.
Right. That makes good sense.
So it's been fun, and I think she's more expecting it to be like Breckenridge, where it's just a fun ride that we happen to capture. And I would like it to be like that, but as Andy knows, it's not always like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I mean, I've understood for a while now that it's work. I mean, I think a lot of when you just see the videos, and we've talked about this before, especially with like younger generations, those kids, they think it's just all fun and games. And so to actually, when we filmed things here, you know, a couple years ago, and it's just simple trails that I know, like I still know it's a lot of work. Like it's not necessarily like a fun day. I mean, it's fun because you're on a bike, but
you can be honest, it's not fun sometimes.
Here that I know, and I know what to expect is different than whenever it's just like riding something blind and filming.
So
all at the same
this
time.
Is a metaphor, guys. This is totally a metaphor for riding with your spouse. No, this like
or with your brother, because remember, I feel bad for Andy. Rich, remember how heated we got that one time out here?
I feel like I've heard about this.
I think he has nightmares
it was
about
terrible.
that. Like,
it was terrible.
I've heard about this a couple times.
We'll get Andy. So
I would love to hear him tell the story because I'd like to hear it from his perspective.
So I think that's great. Jared was talking earlier about maybe getting somebody else on because we can do 4 people.
Yeah, Andy was cool. He came on.
Andy, we'd love to have you on next, Andy. So
he's in here right now.
Yeah, it's I think for me, if I can make it where it's a trail she's comfortable with, it will be more like that. I mean, at the end of the day, I think everybody knows it's produced, but we're trying to make it as real as we can. I think in the sense that we just run a couple cameras and we try to capture some stuff. And, you know, like you said, what?
Sarah may struggle with the fact that you know what you want and she doesn't know what you want. So you've got to convey it.
No, you know what's been fun these last 2 times though is I would say something to like Andy and I'd be like, hey, should we do? And he's like, yeah. And he'd go, well, okay, that's a good idea. Like there were a couple of things that I was like, and it was awesome.
Look at Andy.
Or like Andy and I would get it and understand what we thought would be good. And he's like, what do you mean? We'd have to like explain it to him.
Oh yeah. A couple of times I was like, I'm not following. And they're both.
Come on, Andy. Andy, you know, I'm a professional dude. Don't paint me with that brush.
Yeah. No, you think funny. So. But.
You tell me what you need and I deliver it.
All right. There's 38 people. Does anybody have a question for Sarah and the couples ride? I don't want to keep her here the whole night unless you're having fun.
I'm kind of having fun. Why are you trying to kick me out?
I'm not trying to kick you out. I'm just trying to.
Well, in the meantime,
you want to go clean the kitchen and I'll hang out in here?
I don't want to clean the kitchen.
Jared's got a question.
So where did y'all end? Like, what was the most advanced trail that y'all ended on at Spider Mountain on your visit?
For me, it was only Sidewinder. I mean, I was very
careful about shaking the tail.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't my typical self there.
That's okay. Yeah, I understand.
And so I would love to go back and do, I feel, I mean, we talked about it ahead of time and he thought I could ride everything. I mean, wasn't there maybe a couple that you thought might be an issue? But when I'm feeling good, when I'm feeling confident, and again, like for any newer riders out there, you'll understand, like, if I don't ride for a couple weeks, like I lose some confidence. I'm not like these guys that I've ridden my whole life and I can go a month and not ride. But between other commitments as a mom and a wife and running our business, and I do a lot for Women of Oz here, like there are times there's just times where I don't ride for a week, 2, 3 weeks. I mean, when I was injured, when I first started riding, I was riding 4 or 5 times a week consistently for like a year.
Yeah.
And doing that builds confidence, you know, and now as little as I ride, I have to build it back up. And so all that to say, I would love to go back and when I'm feeling great and ride as much as I can.
Well, and that's part of it, I think, too, is trying to capture that. Like everything she just said, part of this, the idea going in was to capture it because I think that's how a lot of people feel.
Oh, yeah.
Like
that's very real.
Said right there, he'd like to know what you think or what your advice is because his wife is concerned. I mean, it's a bike park at the end of the day. It's not gnarly by any means, but it's one of those things where, there's some stuff that's somewhat dangerous, but I think it's very approachable and it's a place where you can kind of get your feet wet in a bike park. And I think confidence is key. And I'm going to give you my advice first. My advice is be as supportive as possible and try not to get frustrated or show disappointment, because she had some moments and I tried. I mean, you can tell me if I did well, but I tried to just say, yeah, it's fine. We'll deal with it. Like,
yeah, your way. I mean, I think we have worked through a lot as a couple writing together, and I get in my head a lot of the times that he coaches, he instructs. His job is to look at someone through a critical lens.
Right.
It's hard to be a wife to somebody and be on the receiving end of that, because in life in general, as like, things around the house or what I do as a wife or a mom, like I don't want him to be critical of me. So whenever we're on the trail and he's riding behind me, and all I can think at times, especially as I goof up here or there, at times all I'm thinking is he notices all of it, and he wants to give me input. And so it's not judging and it's not mean, but it's hard. It's sometimes hard to separate that.
How do you do it? Rob deals with it well. He just doesn't say anything.
I don't say anything. And here's the thing. There's sorry, Jared, let me just spit this out because I think it's relevant. But Jen has a tremendous ability to adapt and learn. And so sometimes when I have an instinct to comment on something she's done or a mistake she might have made, I keep it to myself for a minute and then she works it out on her own. So I think she pays attention when Rich and I are talking, or when I'm doing other things that I'm doing. She acts like she's oblivious to it, but I think she's paying attention, and she applies the tips that she hears me give to other people to herself. And I've been really impressed with how she's come along. And Sarah, she also gets, I think, self-conscious, thinking like she's holding me back on our rides. But I love to watch her develop as a writer and work things out. It's been really exciting for me.
Yeah, it's cool to hear you talk about it.
Yeah, I've loved seeing her, and I love seeing her and you both share when she conquers different sections out there at South Mountain.
It's so great.
I can't wait.
It's so great.
Because I know, I've seen a couple that I know she was working on, and I can't picture which ones they are, but I know how much more challenging they are in person than what they look like.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What you're sharing.
She's so tenacious. She's so tenacious.
Well, and Jen is a lot more mentally strong than me. Sorry. Like I don't work things out like her. Like I will do the same thing wrong over and over and over and over. And then one day it'll click and I'll be like, oh, I get it now. But like, it was the same thing when I CrossFitted. Like, there are just certain things I'm a very weird like athlete. If you all didn't grow up an athlete, but there are certain things that, like, I take too easily and quickly, and I do them well. But then there's other things that if I don't get it, it's like it doesn't click. Like I can't make that adjustment as much as I try. And so I think it's been interesting. Like as we've worked through things, I think it's helped him even with like coaching other people, because he used to say to me, "You're not listening." And I would get so upset because it was not that I wasn't listening. It wasn't like a lack of respect or like knowing that like what he was saying was like, I appreciated it was great instruction. It was just more, I couldn't apply it. Like I would hear it.
Look what Chris said. I'm going to bring this up. This is amazing.
My man, Chris Tame. Hey, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, it's and this came up because she said to me, so she's got this weird thing where she just grabs the front brake mid-turn and like flips over. And
I've witnessed that. That's a fact. And true story.
We're trying to talk about it. She's like, what would you do if this was a client situation? And I said,
I take the front brake off.
No, I said, I've never had a client do, like, I don't think a client would ever do this. Like, I don't really know what to say, but yeah, that is part of it. I mean, Jared, what about you? You and Christine ride? Like,
I was going to say, we went to Spider Mountain and our experience was honestly pretty good. But my technique with Christine is very different. I kind of just treat her like one of the guys. Normally she does ride a little slower, so we let her, follow up in the back, but she did fine. I think by the end of the day, she was running. I don't think she dropped in on any of the blacks. Like when we ran Sticky, I think she rode a different line. But the good thing about a place like Spider Mountain is it all ends in the same spot, so you can take different courses.
You can just deal with it. Yeah, no, it was good, and I think we're getting better now, because for me, I understand when to talk and when not to talk.
Well, and just in life in general, people like positive feedback too. And I've made that clear to him, like, tell me when I'm doing a good job. And so that's helpful. I mean, when he tells me
Yeah.
like, hey, you know, like it can be a small thing like great climb, or you're really like you're moving more than usual these days, or whatever it is. And I appreciate that input, because then it's just like one of those things that, what did they say? Like give 3 pieces of positive advice for every negative. And so while that might sound, maybe that's like a parenting thing, but like it feels good as just a human to get positive feedback too. So you don't feel like you're doing everything wrong.
Well, especially in the moment when she's frustrated, I was trying to give some positive, and it helped. So it was like, I want to give negative right now. Stop touching the desk and shaking the computer.
I don't know what to do with my hand.
Shaking the
Ricky
desk.
Bobby, come on. Fun stuff.
Yeah. So if someone asked my favorite trail in Bentonville, at some point someone did. So
Somebody did ask that.
Yeah.
My favorite trail, which is not a very long trail, but it's the one I take to get to the trails and then to get home, is Ravine Trail. And it's actually, I think, under construction right now, but it's very short. It's just, it's by Crystal Bridges.
That's a fun trail.
Starts at the Amazium. Yeah. It's just fun. And
I don't think I've ever ridden that.
Yeah.
Rich and I got creative on that one.
Well, it's a little out of the way.
Tripling stuff.
Rob did, yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's just different because it was created for outer bike, and it was created to lead from that parking lot to go down. And so just, I don't think many people, it doesn't seem to me like you'd ride out of town to go into the top of it. You might ride from Masterpiece up. So yeah, people don't get it as much. What about
Masterpiece is always being worked on when I'm there.
Yeah. Did we ride Trestle together? Is what Carrie asked. And we did. We actually rode Trestle together in 2019. She was on my large Switchblade.
Oh yeah, that's when we rode with all the family, though, right?
Yeah. So we did ride some at Trestle, and you liked that, right?
I did. I think I only rode one main green trail. Like,
yeah, there was
that was
stuff
really new in riding.
The compliment sandwich. I was going to call it a different sandwich, David. Thanks for saying that, though.
He's referring to the bread and not the filling.
Yeah. What's your favorite ride we've ever done?
Oh, Mountain to Meadow.
Rob was just talking about that.
Mountain to Meadow at Big Sky.
Need a film there. Yeah, we need a film there. Jen loved that one.
Yeah, we were just saying that we should do that next year when we race BME. We'll do that one together as a family. That was fun. But we rode in Telluride and we had fun. Remember? We took some cool pictures. Yeah,
they kind of blur together a little bit in my mind.
Yeah, Telluride,
bikes, mountains, it's all same
it's all
stuff.
The same.
Well, dude, when we rode all those places, she was on my large Switchblade. She's 5'2".
Wow, great bike, fantastic bike.
Great bike for a 5'2".
Keep the dropper down the whole time, huh?
So
even too big. Great bike.
Yeah,
that's crazy though. 5'2" on a large.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, I put a 35 mil stem on it. I slid the seat all the way forward.
Yeah, and just keep the saddle slammed. Forget the dropper action.
Yeah, like the dropper was not going anywhere.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But now she's
lined out with her own fleet of bikes.
Her own bike. Do you like the Delano?
I do.
Yeah, it's funny because she has a lot of friends that have much more cross-country oriented bikes. So they...
What was your ride before? It was bad to the bone. Was it a Spartan?
Oh, no. Dude.
What I had before?
No. She had a Django.
It was a Django. I knew it was a Da Vinci. It was a pretty bike.
I did love my Django. It was, so I started on his bike and then
aluminum Switchblade.
And then went to a Mach 5.5, right?
Mach 5.5.
And that was 27.5, and then tried to switch back to 29-inch wheels on.
So yeah, we got a Trail 429, and she couldn't ride it, but it was a small, and I think she might have needed an extra small.
I rode it 4 times, and I could not turning. As a girl, I know people think it's silly. I felt like I was on stilts, but from going from the 5.5 to that, and maybe it being a little too big.
Yeah.
After 4 rides, I did not keep it very long. I could not.
That was a great bike.
Now I wish. I'm sure I would like it. I'm sure I'd love it now.
Yeah, just a different transition.
Yeah. And it was funny because it took a while, but then Drew Cobb from Revolution Mobile Bike Repair had an extra small Django, and they're one of the few companies that make an extra small 29-inch wheeled bike. Yeah. And he got it for his wife, and it was still a little too big for her.
Yeah.
And so he brought it over, and I mean, dude, it had We Are One carbon wheels with.
Yeah, that thing was sick. I remember seeing it. Wow.
She's like, I don't know. She took a ride on it, and she came back, and I could see her coming up the street, and the look on her face said it all. So
it was
She
so
came
fun.
back.
I loved it from the get-go, and that was
Oh
not.
my God, it just goes. This
Yeah.
thing just, you pedal it and it goes.
It's funny. Every time I've ever ridden different bikes, he'll ask me, "What'd you think? Like, what did you think?" And most of them, I've said, "I don't know. Like, I'm not in tune enough." Especially like I'll ride up the street.
I know how you feel, Rob. When you ask me, how is it? I don't know.
I won't even get on a trail. I'll ride 5 houses down and turn around. He's like, "What'd you think?" I'm like, "It was a bike." Like, I don't know. But the Django was one that I did feel different. And then also I have to say, when I pedaled around on just his spur on the street,
dude, yeah.
And it was a large, I mean, it was right. It was a large or medium.
It's a large spur.
Way too big, but I was like, I love this bike. Like there was something about it that I would.
I mean, how much does the spur weigh? 28 pounds? It's probably pretty light.
28 stock. I mean, I think it was probably closer to 27, maybe even 26 and a half. It was super light.
Wow.
And it just, like you pedal it, it goes.
So Casey says that I should get the Levo SL.
Yeah.
I've never ridden an e-bike.
Yeah, she hasn't ridden an e-bike yet. And so she's still very much a purist and wants to get the exercise and work out of it. So
no, I just don't know how great I'll get. I don't know how well you can switch from bike to bike from day to day and be fine. I'm not that way. And so if I don't necessarily want only an e-bike. And so I don't know how great I'll do switching back and forth. So
I get that.
I was talking about Rich this morning about that.
Yeah.
Playing the bike boogie doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah.
Every time I shuffle bikes, I made a post about I need to go 3 rides before I try to push it. But the problem is I'm so dialed into my cues on trail at speed. If I change my speed, that brings even more risk because the things I go to do don't work. And I was telling Stephanie this morning, I'm like, I don't know how Rich can just jump on any bike and go. Maybe he doesn't have the crutch of turn-in reference points or that stuff that I have to rely on. Maybe he doesn't need that.
No, that's not true at all. Hence the reason I crashed on the Enduro.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's very few and far between compared to what you're dealing with. Our situations are very, very different. There's almost nowhere that I would say there's any sort of risk compared to what you're dealing with. Like I can go do a 90-minute ride and the risk is very, very low, even at what some would consider a lot of speed, because there's just it's not like you where you have such small windows to give the inputs. And if you miss that window, dude, you're getting spat over the bars. I don't have that. So, okay.
MT Believer has a good question there.
I agree.
And I think it's interesting because I think my answer will be very different than Rob's because Jen and I are very different in what we needed to get riding. So for me,
watch this series.
For me,
that's the first answer.
Yes, that's the first. But I needed to ride with ladies. I needed to. We tried way back years ago when we were still in Dallas. We went to trails around the Dallas area. We went to Austin and went to the Greenbelt. I mean, like we would fight. It was horrible, and I decided I would never ride a mountain bike. Then we moved.
Did you guys read that question? Did you actually read that question?
Well, you got to learn how not to do it first.
Great question.
Wait, what?
Read the whole question.
Oh my God. Oh, that's classic.
I thought it said ride with us.
That's a negative over.
So I can tell you how I did it. I don't know if it'll be helpful.
We are going to remove that question. How dare
I'm still going to answer as if that was not the question. So riding with Women of Oz was like a big deal to me. So being able to ride with ladies first and not feel any kind of pressure to ride well or to get them like, it just gave me the confidence to be comfortable enough on a trail to then go ride with him and be ready for some input and some coaching. Yeah. But just some time on a bike without his presence was really helpful for me. And then having them to ride with on the regular, because we couldn't always ride together, but getting that base of getting to ride a lot was helpful for me. So,
yeah. And part of it too is making these videos. Like the reason behind it was obviously we want people to watch them, but so there's some value in them. So maybe they can help get significant others riding because we have fun. What is that you're pulling up there?
Somebody said I look like some fella. I don't know how to say it. Dahar man. So I looked him up and I put him on the screen because I was curious.
But yeah, this is where it would be good if I If
But
I could full screen.
I actually have an answer for that question from before about how to get your wife to ride. Or at least this is what I did. I just bought her a bike, and I was like, "Here it is." And honestly, she was so unexpecting that she freaked out and broke out in hives. It was a very interesting reaction.
Wow.
But she gave it a
That is,
shot, and she enjoyed it, so it worked out.
What did you do, Rob? I don't recall how Jen started riding.
Well, you might remember that I had a WF09 left over that was set up fat bike, plus tires.
Right.
And that was a medium anyway, so I just put a smaller stem on and gave her that to ride, and she rode Desert Classic a few times, and that bike actually suited her pretty well, but she just never really did it enough to enjoy it. I mean, even now, I wish that I could get her to ride more, because if she could get her lungs under her and get a little bit more pedaling fitness, I think that she would have more fun.
That makes sense.
And that's the great thing about it, is it's hard at the beginning, but as you get better, it gets easier. And so it's like it exponentially improves for you, but you got to stick with it.
And so does the enjoyment. The enjoyment exponentially goes up when your fitness comes up, because we were huffing and puffing our first year. It was pretty raunchy. I'm not going to lie. We're like, we can't do this.
Yeah. Well, you get to where you can achieve more, and your skills increase faster. Everything increases exponentially if you stick with it, and that's what I can't wait to see that happen.
For sure.
Yeah, I like seeing that, because when she gets more confident, it's just more fun. And Casey has a good one. Yeah, the more we are willing as dads to take care of the kids, that's a nice reprieve. They'll be a lot more motivated to go ride when it's like, wait a minute, I can get away from these hellions for a while. Okay, yeah, yeah. And Chris got a good one. Don't take your wife to national.
Oh my gosh,
as a novice rider.
So it's so funny. We talk about that a ton with ladies from Women of Oz. They're like, man, my husband or my boyfriend or whatever, he took me on it. It's always like a hard blue their first time out. And you're like, what are you thinking? Like it's, I hear that so often. So finding a trail that's mild enough that they get there, they actually have some wins and feel good about it versus like struggling the whole time. No one wants to struggle the whole time. Like that's not.
I tell you what was great for us was Angel Fire. Jen did so good this last time out.
Yeah.
And having been there before, she had her baseline trails that she knew she could ride, but Lazy Susan was a rate stage up there, and she did really well with it. And when I was coming down it, I was like, this has got actually some technical stuff on it. She just killed it. So it was fun.
That's cool. Oh, look at that. We got somebody else joining us.
Yeah, the Great Pumpkin's here.
The Great Pumpkin. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, she got in the costume, so I figured I might as well put her on screen at least.
Yeah,
are you done with me?
I'm done with you. We're going to do some Q&A stuff.
Okay, cool.
You did good.
Thank
Sarah,
you.
you did awesome. Thanks for answering my
Great job,
questions
Sarah.
and stuff.
Lovebird, out.
Oh, sorry.
It'll leave you hanging there. That was good.
Tom Brady, me, dude. Tom Brady on the sidelines. All right, so now I got to come back to one that somebody asked about here. And I don't know. What's up, Cobra? Oh, Andrew Strong's got a spur ordered. Should be here in the next 2 weeks.
Wow, they actually took an order.
Good for you. Yeah, that's good. Somebody asked too, did I get the frame wrap for the Izzo? I have not gotten the frame wrap for the Izzo. I don't know if it's shipped yet.
Are you doing ride wrap or Invisiframe?
No, it's ride wrap, but I have a sheet of film that I got from Rob. And so I'm going to lay some of that on it so I can ride it next week, because I don't think the ride wrap will be here. So, David, if you're still here, I'm hoping you're going to see me send that thing next week.
Is that paint flat on that?
It is.
Yeah, it's a matte finish.
Yeah, the matte wrap stuff, I don't like it as much.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm going to ride the wheels off this bike, dude. I don't want it to get all jacked up. I want it to try to stay.
I agree.
I get you.
It's been raining here, so I
hope that stops. I hope that it's decent when I get up there.
It should. It looks like it's going to.
I saw the pictures of that CX ride y'all had out there. Boy,
that was a big race.
muddy.
That was a UCI race. Yeah, it was pretty nasty. And then this weekend is the Epic Rides Oz Trails Off-Road. So that's getting set up tomorrow. The Amateur Fun 15 will go out tomorrow. They're doing the Fat Tire Crits tomorrow. And then Saturday is the Pro 50, Amateur 50, and Amateur 30.
Where do they actually run that? Is that
they go right from downtown. So they start in downtown, do a loop out to the east, and then head up into Slaughter Pen area, kind of through the backside.
Yeah.
And then
like
they go
Medusa
out.
And all that?
They actually kind of back through there, and then they come out. They're actually going to take them out further on the road, and they're going to bring them in by like, Sally, kind of Wonderland area, a little bit further north.
Okay.
So they're going to be on gravel for a little bit to get out there. And I think it's going to be, I don't know, it's tough to say. It's sloppy right now, but if it stops raining, it looks like it's going to rain into early afternoon tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that might make it kind of rough. I've seen a couple people's Instagrams. Some of the pros have been out and they've gotten like 3-4 inch slices in sidewalls. Keegan got one, Rob. So it was.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Just from the rocks getting exposed.
Yeah, you have a lot of exposed rocks, and it's just hard to avoid them all on some of the places. They're doing a trail called the Ledges, and that one's pretty brutal, and it's very well known to cause a lot of flats. So there were some questions, Rob, that were thrown out, and I talked about one already. Who is the most talented rider you have ever ridden with? The most highly skilled rider, excuse me.
The most highly skilled rider I've ever ridden with.
And if you can't decide who.
Well, I mean, I've got some guys like Alex who I get to ride with regularly, and he's really great.
Yeah, he's
really great.
He's a good one.
I've gotten to be on trail with Richie Rude, but it doesn't last long.
Dude, I think Blodgett for me is up there.
Blodgett's definitely up there. So racing EWS, I got to ride with some pretty legendary guys.
Yeah.
Older dudes, but pretty legendary guys. Matter of fact, I would say that Kareem Amor is probably one of the most talented guys on the bike I've ever been around. The guy is just so in tune with the machine, and he's spent his entire life mastering it. And I've seen the guy do things just on return rides that just had me blowing my mind. And when he looked at me and saw the look on my face of astonishment, he says, "I like to ride my bike."
I like to ride my bike. Yeah, it's tough. I think Blodgett is up there. He was on the live the other day, and that dude's he's pretty.
Yeah, he's very fun to ride. Very talented.
Did what?
Did you do a video with him?
I did. Yeah, he's the really tall dude
on the Scott.
He rides Scott.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Definitely a good rider.
Oh, yeah, he's the guy who made me decide that I had to learn a manual.
Really?
Like riding with him, he's the first person who I saw to put it into usable effect on the trail. I would always say that it was just a parlor trick that was unnecessary, but I would see him put it to use on the trail, and even when he did, it was not something that that was necessary, but the way that he executed it just was so cool. I thought, dude, I got to learn how to do that.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. It was
definitely a want, not a need, but it was a strong want.
Yeah.
Strong want.
Yeah,
it's definitely cool to see it on the trail.
He's a good rider. I got to ride with Aaron Chase a little bit, and that was fun to watch.
Yeah, I got to ride with Aaron. Actually, I got to ride with Bernard Kerr.
Wow.
A couple times, which was pretty awesome.
He's an animal.
Back before the 29-inch Phoenix was released, he was out and we did some testing, and so that was pretty fun. He's very very skilled.
Yeah, he's sick.
He's pretty gnarly.
We didn't really get any other great questions. I mean, who's the most famous?
Most famous, yeah, I was going to say.
Who's the most famous? That was a pretty good one. Have you thought about that one, Rob?
I've thought about it, and I can't. I'm trying to decide how you would measure famous.
I think you're thinking about it too hard.
Yeah, you're thinking about.
Well, like I had a good day riding out here at South Mountain with Cody Kelly, and that was fun. And I mean, he's obviously a very recognizable guy. You know, he's certainly very well known.
Yeah, I don't think that compares to mine. So
no, it absolutely does not. But I'm just thinking, I don't really know like straight up celebrities. I don't think I've had an opportunity to ride with any.
Thankfully, Marcus is on here. Marcus, the most famous person I have ever ridden with is a dude named Robin Thicke. So you may know that name. You may know that name. Yeah, he came into town actually. Something with whiskey. I don't know exactly what it was, but I got the call and they said, "Hey man, Robin Thicke wants to go ride some mountain bikes, him and his son, Julian." And so we got some bikes, and he's a tall dude, so I had to source a pretty big bike for him. But we went out.
What was he riding?
I think I had him on a Specialized, maybe, because we needed an extra large.
Yeah.
Either that or a Da Vinci. I don't recall exactly. It was a few years ago, but we went out and rode. And dude, he's a good rider. Like he was he was a big into BMX when he was young.
That's
so
interesting.
He'd ride his BMX bike all over the place and all around the studio when he was hanging out with his dad. So I was impressed, dude. He was going for it. And it was blazing hot, dude. Blazing hot and humid. And he was ripping, dude. Like he was trying jumps and stuff. He was having fun. Yeah, him and his son were having a really good time. So I enjoyed it. And he was a rad dude. Very down to earth, humble dude. Like it was hot and he took his shirt off. So he's riding around with his shirt off. And like people, like every once in a while would stop and people would be like, is that who I think it is?
That's so funny, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So he is a pretty good dude. What are any topics on your mind, guys?
I didn't think of any.
Rob, you always have
I did my first ride on the Izzo, and
wait, you have one too?
I do. I have a medium.
Here, Jared. Wait, you have one?
Y'all are out of control. I'm so jealous.
I'm concerned it may be a little compact.
Yeah, he's got a medium.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the medium is a bit small.
How tall
I
are
think.
you, Rob?
5'11".
Yeah, it sounds. What are the numbers on that?
Small.
I think the reach number is 450, so it's definitely the lower end of what I've tried.
Yeah.
I've gotten away with like 460. I can do. I think the pivot Trail 429 is I think 465 on the medium.
Yeah. What's interesting?
And I think
in 2017, a large that I was riding, the reach was only 445. It's crazy how much that's changed in a matter of 3 or 4 years.
The front center of these bikes has gotten so much bigger.
Yeah.
Well, and to accommodate the slack head angles, that's what's necessary. You know, if you don't make the front triangle longer, then you're gonna have the handlebars in your lap.
Yeah, exactly. It's just funny to think about.
Yeah. Yeah. I figured that thing was going to be a little bit small for you.
Yeah.
Was it a stocking issue, or you were just thought that was going to be the one?
No. I bought it used. That was what I was able to get my hands on. I grabbed it.
Yeah. Well, he's going to get some
and I still
on mine.
I've got a 50 mil stem on it and a 140 mil fork. So I've got a 60 mil stem I can put on it, and I've got a longer fork that I can put on it, so I can kind of get myself a little bit more in the back seat, and I think that those changes will be helpful. So I haven't given up. It's just my initial ride. I thought, the 50 mil is a little short.
Yeah. I really like that bike. It's so like the design of it is just so good looking.
It feels great. It looks cool. I think they did a great job with it. And
I agree.
So on the upside, like if it doesn't work for me, then my wife is going to have another bike.
There it is.
Oh, I didn't think about that, dude. That'd be
So that's a great thing. Is if it's too small for me, it's perfect for her.
That's a solid upgrade for her.
Yeah. Yeah, she's about to get a real solid upgrade because I got that 22 stump jumper that I'm going to custom paint for her.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, it's going to be dope. I just figured out the colors. I'm quite excited about it.
You have to post some pictures.
Oh, believe me, I will.
Good.
It will be shared.
So what right now is a bike out there that you'd really like to have?
That I would really like to have?
Yeah.
I'd still like to have a
you
spur. I'd still like to have a spur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's still a bike. I'm keeping my eyes peeled. I'd still like to have it.
You think you'd be able to ride that on a lot of your normal trails?
So it's funny that you bring that up. And I talked with you the other day about my debate about small bikes and big bikes. And there's places where, am I going to ride a spur where I would ride the propane? No. Not that I couldn't do it, but you just don't get to enjoy it as much because that bike's not built for that. But in the places it's good, and there's tons of them out here, that a bike like that is just so necessary and rewarding to ride.
Yeah.
And trying to ride those same places on a bigger bike, you can't make the math add up. The timing is not doable.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Anything else that you'd like to have?
I'm hoping to get. So I really liked the Stump Jumper Evo, but I bought a used one that was what I could get, and so I had an S3, and the S3 the S3 is big enough that I was able to ride it and be comfortable on it, but I think an S4 would be better, and that's a big enough bike that I can take that into the big stuff. And so I think I'd like to have an S4.
I hope you get one, dude. I came across some footage that we shot a long time ago, right when that bike came out, and I was on an S4. And it's funny, dude. Like every clip I'm talking, I'm like, it's long. Like this thing's really long.
Yeah, but did you had it set up high and steep?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because none of them seem to come that way, and every time I see one, and it's. You specifically switched it around.
Yes, we set it up high and steep, dude, and it's a long.
Which probably isn't steep still, right? Steep for that bike is what,
steep as is slack on that bike. Yeah.
No, dude, steep is 65.5.
Yeah, that's not that steep, but yeah,
that's not bad.
I know it can go out to 63.5, I believe, correct?
Yeah, but that's not bad. I mean, 65.5 is not out of the realm of reason.
No, not at all. I ride a 65.5 bike. I just wouldn't call it steep. I consider like 67 steep.
Yeah.
Well, I sat on one and pedaled it around, and the cockpit reach felt pretty good.
Yeah.
The wheelbase surely is long, but I didn't have a chance to get it on tight sections of trail where I could experience whether it was negligible or not.
Yeah.
And the S3 was a blast. I loved that bike, but
that's a bike I'd love to get on. I think I don't know. It just looks awesome. And I love all the customization you can do with the Geo. I feel like you can really get it dialed in to your preferences.
Yep.
Dude, hang on. I can't believe I didn't say this. I totally forgot. Yeah, that'll work. We did a clinic this weekend, and my man Goose came in. Goose is like in his late 60s, came in from Little Rock for a clinic up here, and then he came out to get better at jumping down there. Mm-hmm. All he could find was a Slash.
Shrek Slash.
Dude, I rode his bike.
Yeah.
Rad.
Yeah, I've never had a chance to really ride one, but sitting on them, they feel really good. They look good.
Yeah, I rode one around a parking lot.
I was blown away.
When that bike came out, I thought it was one of the sexiest looking bikes I'd ever seen. It really looked good.
And it's slack. It's definitely slack. But dude, it pedaled. Man, it was reminiscent of the Scott.
The Genius.
Yeah, I would like to get a Firebird still.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, think about that.
I'm a fan of that bike. I think it's probably great. Everybody's got them out here, and everybody I talk to says good things. So.
You know what bike I want that's completely out of left field is the Bullet by Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz Bullet, the e-bike?
It's a mixed wheel e-bike.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know. I'm like, Bullet, what is that?
I just want to ride it. I saw a couple of them at Canuga, and there was a bunch of people riding them. I was just jealous. Yeah. It looked like a lot of fun.
Man,
the Santa Cruz factory team was out here riding. They were out here in a big group on those things.
Yeah, they're sick.
I actually saw Keegan was with them up here on South Mountain on those.
Having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have my Levo. Talk about mixed wheels. It's not seen dirt. 3 months just sitting. It's literally in storage now.
Is the new Levo got
Why's that?
a small back wheel?
It's got a small back wheel. I think the biggest reason I haven't ridden is it's just too big. It's an S4. I thought I ordered an S3.
Yeah, I remember you saying that about one of your bikes that it came in, or that it was S4 and it was too big for you. That must have been the one.
Huge bike.
Send it my way, bro. Don't let it go to waste.
No, I'll
ride that sucker.
I'll bring it. I think I'm going to bring like 8 bikes or 9 bikes out to Phoenix here next month.
Fill the trailer, man. Just fill it up. Bring them all.
I have my trailer. They're going to all be in the trailer when we come back out. We're planning, and it's funny, the Rocky Mountain, Dippin's talking about that. I'd like to ride the new Element. So when I go out to Phoenix, Rob's going to meet me. We're doing a really cool event at the end of the month in Johnson City, but then I'm going to head out there and we're going to do some ride series events there, San Diego, St. George, Utah. So between November and December, we're going to be a few different places, but I'm going to bring all of my downcountry or trail light bikes, and we're going to do our own little shoot.
Oh, booyah.
Oh,
Casey just picked in some cheese.
2
Casey
big
rock, buddy.
winter riding destinations. I'm going to let Rob Drew kick this one off because I think he might be in one of the best winter riding destinations.
Yes, if you've not been to Phoenix, Arizona to ride your bike in the winter, you are missing out, my friend. This is probably the most underrated winter riding spot, at least in the United States, maybe in the world.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. It's great. I've heard
the underrated MTB capital of the world.
Yes. Here's another one that I've heard is great. It's called the Jeezy, St. George, Utah.
Yeah, I will give a thumbs up for St. George. That place is cool.
Told by Norm, St. George, Utah is awesome to ride in the winter. And then I think Southern California has some great places to ride in the winter. I mean, if we're talking North America. I'd throw the hill country of Texas in there. Yeah. Like a trip to Spider Mountain, because you got Spider Mountain, you have Reveille Peak Ranch that's a stone's throw away from there. I mean, that's a really fun 2 days of riding. And then
we did see some snow on Spider Mountain, though, didn't we, recently?
It was a light sprinkle. I don't think it ever blizzard.
Oh, it's a dusting. They call that a dusting.
Yeah.
Just for dramatic effect.
Yeah, it doesn't snow on South Mountain.
Yeah, those are probably a couple of the best places. So thank you, Casey. I appreciate that. I'm always just surprised when the super chat comes up. Rob, you want to go ahead and answer David's question about hardtails?
I'd love to answer David's question about hardtails. Unbeknownst to many who know me, I did once upon a time have a great hardtail. It was the Niner Ross 9.
And what does Ross stand for, Rob?
Ride over shit.
Yes.
It was one of the first aggressive hardtails. It was a really fantastic bike. And every time I rode it, I had a lot of fun. And then at the end of those rides, my spine said, that's not the kind of fun you can have, buddy.
That's hilarious.
I have a residual injury from my spectacular motocross career, and it is L5S1 ruptured disc. And riding a hardtail is just a huge negative for me. So
is that a chromoly steel bike?
It was aluminum. It was aluminum.
The Sur 9.
They had one. The Sur 9 was the steel is real.
Steel is real.
That's why it's Sur. Okay, I never knew that. I'm familiar with it. I figured
you can take a guess at what WFO means.
Yeah, it doesn't mean what they say. It means. Wide open.
Is that it?
It doesn't stand for wide full open. Let me just tell you that.
Yeah, I figured.
What about this one? A 130, an SB 130. I don't know what. Oh, lunch ride.
Sorry, that under the what bikes would I like to ride? The SB 130 lunch ride is high on the list. I've heard tremendous things, but I don't really have a hookup to get my hands on one.
No.
So
I'm assuming
I guess
the
if anybody,
is the overforked version, right? It's probably got a 170 stuffed in it.
No, I think it's
I don't think it's that big.
190 actually.
No, seriously, my friend had a Yeti that was a lunch ride, and it was 127 in the back with a 160 fork up front. It was wild.
I could see that when the V1 Switchblade, the second year, they went from a 150 fork to a 160 fork with 135 in the back, and that worked good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, dude. Dippin's, he's sharing it with you, dude. Every moto guy has a jacked L5. It's just, that's how it goes.
That's a fact. Boy, too many seat bounces.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Chris says Nate Hills, Rob. I don't know what that means. Does he want
Nate Hills doesn't really love me.
Is that
How could he
I
not
wronged
love
that
you?
guy. I wronged that guy once upon a time, and I don't think he's going to let it go. I don't know what happened personally. I don't recall an incident, but apparently there was one where I was a bit douchey, and I wasn't aware of it.
maybe he's somebody we could get on here as a guest and he can talk about it?
That
I
would
would
be cool.
love. I would love that. That would be great. But
I
don't
feel like
know.
he's always traveling though. It'd be hard to catch him.
well, he's
Yeah,
around here. He's around here. We travel. We have a tight knit circle of close friends that we are both very good friends with,
Mhm.
and so it's awkward that we've not really been friendly. It's unfortunate. I mean, I'd love to have him come out here and stay with me and do some riding here on South Mountain.
He's a great
He
rider.
comes here quite a bit, but I don't ever see him when he does.
Gotcha.
Try and do. Hang on, I'm coming back here. I had to send something. So we're gonna see if we can bring in another guest here.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
that's funny. Chris said Alex can smooth it out for you.
but believe me, I'm sure he's tried. As has Lars, as has Kyle Mears. I mean, we have a lot of mutual friends, and I would
yeah.
hope that those guys would stick up for me. But
Yeah, I
I don't know.
definitely recognize
It's been
the
a
name
lot of
Lars.
years. Yeah, it's been a lot of years.
So hang on. Damon, can I just throw this out there? I appreciate what you guys put back into the community. Thank you. And yes, Spider Mountain is a nice winter ride spot. Heck yeah, Damon, you can throw it out there.
Damon, you
Rob
can
and I-
throw that out there, and I appreciate it.
Rob and I were talking about that this morning for a couple different reasons. And again, that's what this comes back to is I know he and I have talked about it a lot, and that's the goal with this. And that's why we do it on our terms. And that's why you see Rob when you are allowed to see Rob or when he wants to be part of things, because he does it on his terms. I think many people here would agree that he could have a fantastic YouTube channel and following if he just put content out, and he wants to, but it hasn't worked out because he's got other things that he's dealing with. He's got a business to run, and it's easier for me because this is more my business, but I also have people that help me with that business. And it's a lot easier, ladies and gentlemen, when
There
you
he
have an Andy.
What's
Andy
up? What's
Lai
up?
in the house.
What's up, Andy?
What's up, Jared? Nice to meet you.
You
Are
too,
you getting some of that
man.
Barrow's pizza yet, bro?
No, man, I need to get up there probably this weekend.
Yeah, don't be scared, dude. It's good stuff.
Oh, I'm never scared of pizza, man. You know me.
What about this one, Rob? Any chance to get Jeff Kendallweed on? I think there's.
I think we could do that. Yeah.
Another
yeah.
manual
Jeff,
maniac.
I think Jeff and I are good. Yeah, he's another guy who just can manual like a lunatic.
Yeah.
I'll ask and see if we can figure it out. He's another pretty busy dude, but he'd be fun to get on. And I'll tell you why I would like to talk with him. I'd like to talk with him because a lot of people reference him when countering some of the technique things we talk about. Ooh. And what I tell all these people is he's the exception, not the rule. Like, he is an outlier. I would never tell anybody to ride their bike as far back as he does, but he makes it work because he's a product of his environment. He's a product of what he grew up doing, and a lot of that is trials. So, yeah, Jeff is an amazing rider. He's a very, very unique rider. And I would tell a lot of people, that's not a style you initially try to emulate. If you grew up doing trials, that's potentially something that you could try to use, but that's a tough one.
You've got to go a long way before you even can begin to consider some of the stuff that he does every day.
Yeah,
you've got to build a tremendous base first.
Yeah.
Kind
of a superhuman.
Andy, if you could have any bike right now, what would it be?
This one's probably a little less lusted after, but for some reason, I want to shred on a Ripley AF.
Dude, yes.
What? Come on, dude. No,
That's a cool bike.
Do we keep him in or do I just cut him?
No, I like
No,
that
I
bike.
have-
Keep
I
him in
have
here.
heard-
I'm with
I
it.
have heard that that's a really good bike. I have a lot of friends who had it, got rid of it, got different bikes, and now are going back
Do
to
you
it.
want to go back to it? Yeah.
It's one of
Yeah,
those
the Ripley's
unsung
good.
heroes. It's like it doesn't look new and exciting, but it checks all the boxes.
And you know what
So-
else is cool about it is that Ibis is one of the only brands that'll still sell you an aluminum frame set. You can buy that for $1,800, and it's a really
Nice.
quite a nice frame.
Yeah. The
Speaking
Ripley
of
AF
aluminum,
and
it's pretty rad
the
that
Izzo.
Transition is offering alloy versions of a lot of their bikes
I
too for
agree.
a substantial
I agree.
discount.
I was stoked to see that as well.
I wanted to bring this one up. Haris, to tell Sarah thank you. I will do that and she will appreciate it. Thank you for pointing that out. That's pretty cool. And Haris has been talking a lot about the, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right. He's been asking a lot about the Izzo. So I think he either has or is ordering an Izzo. So he's very, very curious what we think about that bike. Andy, I agree with you, dude. I would like to ride one also. We had somebody, Joshua at the clinic this weekend had one.
Yeah.
And it's a good looking bike. And I've talked to a few people that have them and they dig them.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to getting a chance to throw a leg over your Izzo too when it gets in. Or
Oh,
when
no,
I
that's
get
not
up
gonna
there. I guess you got it in.
Yeah, that's not going to
That's not
happen.
gonna happen, he says.
Yeah. I'll just wait till you're eating inside. I'll go run out and grab it. Take off.
So I was only going to put a ride wrap on it. Let me cover it in bubble wrap, and then it's all yours to ride.
Oh,
No, you
shots
will
fired.
definitely ride that one because I want to get your take on it. Because I think it's a really cool bike, and I think you'll dig it, especially where, everybody says that where I'm at, that'd be a great bike. I think that'd be a great bike everywhere, but I could really picture riding all the Dallas areas. I think it would be awesome.
I was
Yeah,
surprised you
I
didn't get
think
the
so,
Blaze
too.
version.
It wasn't available.
Because I
Yeah.
heard you mention you wanted all RockShox components. I was like, well, the Blaze was that.
No, it was, but it wasn't. Like, this has been in the works. I think the order went in May or something.
Yeah,
Or the process started in May, so it was a long time coming.
that has been a while.
And this was what was there, and so I wasn't going to complain about anything. I said, whatever it is, I don't care. It could have been a core 2. It didn't.
I mean,
matter.
honestly, you got a beautiful spec on it. That pretty solid. The wheels are carbon on it too at that level, isn't it?
Yeah, they are, and I've never
that's such a good
had those
value.
wheels. They're XMC 1501s. Have you ever ridden those, Rob?
Which ones?
I think it's the XMC 1501,
Carbon?
the carbon DT.
Yeah, I had those on my Mach 4 SL.
Oh wow!
Hubs are terrible.
Oh dude, they're
Wheels are good. Hubs are terrible.
What is it?
Yeah.
Is it the 3-pawl in there?
I think it's got like half a pawl. It's got like 26 degrees of engagement.
not degrees. It's got 36 points.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And
I think with the
think it's
DT
upgraded.
hubs now, you can switch it out to the ratchet on even the 3-pawl.
Yeah, so I heard that. I'm riding a new Stans wheel that's got a really good engagement hub, very comparable to like the Torch.
That's a Neo hub, right?
Yeah,
Stans.
it's really working well.
Good
And
hub.
I was talking to Alex actually about what you just said, that the DT ones, they'll retrofit them. If you have the previous design, they've made a retrofit that will go into those, and for like a $20 donation, they'll do the retrofit for that.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know that. What do you have? Do you have the stock wheels, Andy, on your bike? Those race face wheels?
Yeah, I was gonna say, man. Once, like Chris said, once you go I-9, you feel kind of spoiled because you jump on other bikes. You just kind of like don't want to be a snob,
Andy,
but
you're a
like,
wanker
"Ugh,
running stock wheels.
What is this? But dude, Rich will attest to it. Those race face hubs are not bad. That came
Come
stock
on,
in the
guy.
Troy.
The Vault.
Shut your mouth.
Yes,
The
They're
Vault
not
is a good
bad,
hub.
but they're huge. Like
They
they're
are huge.
massive hubs.
Yeah, they are like.
they're a weird shape.
I agree, but they're not bad.
They've
hubs.
gotta
The
be
engagement
heavy.
was good.
The engagement
gotta
on
be
it
heavy.
is not bad for a stock wheel.
Yeah.
Rob, you know what they say?
If they don't work, you can hit them with it.
Sign of reliability.
Weight is a sign of reliability.
I'm running the session hubs. Those have been really good. 612
Oh.
points of engagement. They're solid.
Wait, how many?
Good plug for session.
612. It's 6 pawls running on a 102 tooth lock ring. So that's 612.
That's a
It's
lot.
less than I9. I9's running 690 or whatever it is.
692.
That's Hydra, though, right?
Yeah, Hydra.
692. You need that extra 2, bro.
692.
Yeah.
Don't sell them short.
Sorry.
Yeah, I got the Hydras on my Epic.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Thanks for giving me credit for that, Chris. Those I9s are fantastic.
Just want to say another shout out for a good hub of the Bontrager lines. They have a 102 tooth lock ring or 102 tooth ring on it too. Very high engagement.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can get the wheel set for like $500, and it's really
That's hard to
quite
beat
good.
right there. Rob, what do you think of the 1-to-1?
I don't love them, but they're good enough that I haven't taken them off the Fazari. I mean, when I ride the Fazari, I don't say to myself, "Gee, I wish I had better hubs."
1-1s are solid.
Yeah, I think for the value, I think they're good. And most people, like with the technical riding I do, I think engagement is more critical. Plus, like Chris said, once you've ridden like Hydra hubs, it's pretty difficult to not have them.
So yeah, it's funny. The 1-to-1s I think I have 3 or 4 sets in total on different bikes. And when I'm not riding those, I'm riding some stock Roval wheels where the engagement's just bad.
Oh yeah, so in that case, they probably feel amazing.
They feel amazing, but then I hop back on the Hydras on something, and it's
You're
just
like, oh man.
whoa. Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you where I notice it is they just seem to roll forever.
I tell people all the time when I'm riding with people, especially like down a fire road or something behind them, I've got to go to the brakes to stop from running into people, and sometimes they're even pedaling.
Yeah.
So I think the seat of the pants, it's like if we do a soapbox derby where we just get at the top of a hill and coast, the I9s will outroll anything I've ridden.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
As they should at the cost.
Well, and what I think is crazy is when the bearings get loose, they get even faster. And so like the point where people start complaining about kind of the rough roll or a little bit of slop in the wheel, that's how I love them, because they're super fast when they're like I'll change those bearings for people and I hang on to them.
These are for me.
Yeah, those are race bearings.
race day bearings.
Yeah, those are full race bearings.
And staggered special.
That's right. That's right.
So I'll tell you, I've had a lot of people ask about this, like best budget hub upgrade. I don't really know because I've only ever run I9s. Like
Stands Flow is your answer.
Really?
Yeah, because I have the Neo hub on it.
What about well, he's just asking for hubs. What about Hopes? Hopes are pretty good, right?
Well, if he's keeping a QR,
yeah, but the cost.
You can't do a 141 QR on Hope.
I think the cost is comparable.
Yeah, Hope's pretty up there. Hope and Chris King and Onyx, they're all up there.
Really?
Yeah. Those are all equitable price wise. And the Chris Kings, like I've heard great things about them, but my buddy had a set, and I swear it's like rebuilding an automatic transmission. You know, there's like these pressure settings, and you gotta like break them in, and if it's not right, they'll disengage forward. Oh, it's crazy.
But yeah, to answer his question, the 141 QR bikes, you really have two options.
141 or 142?
148.
Well, he says
142.
It's a QR. If it's a boost QR, it's 141. Which is what's on that bike. It's a weird standard that's only on a few bikes. And
last time I saw a skewer, it had little chunks of beef on it on my barbecue.
Yeah, y'all aren't used to dabbling in this land. This is my sector.
Dude. I don't know anything about that. What
I would get out my welder and fix that problem. Is what I would do.
Is that a Mayrine Rifter? I don't know any of them things.
Wow.
Andy, are you wearing a Rob Drew hat?
Yeah, he is.
A Rob Drew hat. We're all going.
Yeah, I love it.
Shout out to the RD.
I love it.
Evolution. I just happened to be kitted up when you gave me a shout to join.
Get it up. We're gonna go.
You always roll like that, just in case, huh?
Check him out.
Always.
You never know when the
ready.
Rich Drew's going to call. Bring you into the live feed.
So Andy,
Be
we're
ready.
gonna throw you solo, dude. What's I think people are liking the couples video. We've gotten
Good to hear.
We've gotten some good.
I like
feedback.
everything Andy does.
Yeah,
Good to
everything you've been doing. So are you at liberty to talk about what's in the hopper, dude? You got a lot you're working on.
Yeah, we've got quite a queue of videos to get out. The next one is the Delano long-term review that we filmed at Breck. We still have the
Oh,
Windrock
wait a minute.
coverage.
Wait a minute. How do you feel about that one?
I feel good, man. I mean, Breck is
What's
one
the
of those
holdup,
spots where
dude?
you
Breck
can't
was a
have-
month ago.
Hey, man, I got kids, bro. And I got a full-time job. Dude, the one I feel bad about is Windrock. We need to get that out ASAP. Got
So
some
that-
really
All
good
I know
footage
is
there.
the finger guns, the little finger guns clip you did for me. That's all I need. I don't need nothing
Gosh,
else.
how
That was
long
great.
ago was Windrock? That was a while, huh?
Look, we're a little behind, Jared. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, the
Sorry.
Windrock videos were fun. The finger guns and the boat. What was that?
The boat,
That,
the boat was pretty good.
yeah, the boat scene was cool.
The boat scene. We published that one though. That was Baker Creek.
Oh yeah, that's out.
Yes.
Okay, so what else?
We've got all the stuff at Spider. We got some how-tos in there. We've got some cornering mistakes. We've got how to ride a wall. The
So how
that
to
we
wall
filmed.
ride. That's going to be a
Yeah,
fun one.
how to wall
Gosh,
ride.
that's a
at
lot of
Spider.
topics in the pipeline.
Yeah,
Oh, dude,
man.
I think there's some other stuff too hiding.
Incredible.
We've got the Minority Mountain Bikers overview or recap. Got to get that out too. Tons of
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
We're just sitting on a dozen videos. No big deal.
Appreciate it, Chris. It's a learning process. You know, this whole thing started a while back. I think maybe one day Rich will give the okay to release the screen test that we did in his garage. And what was that, 16 or 17, Rich?
Do you have it?
I have it somewhere. It's on my Google
dude.
Drive.
If you find it, I'll release it, dude. We'll put it up on YouTube. I think people
Yeah.
will laugh.
Yeah, so
Full
for people
throwback.
that don't know, I met Rich on Facebook, and at that time they had all those people you may know just pop-ups, right? And Rich's profile pic caught my attention because it was a very well done photo. It was studio quality stuff. So I saw that we had mutual friends, and I reached out and I said, "Hey, what's this guy like? If I reach out to him to practice some video work because I just got some video equipment, am I going to regret reaching out to him? Is he a weirdo?"
Tasteful nude video work. I was like, what is this guy?
You absolutely have regretted it.
Jack, yeah, in other ways, right? Jack Tatar gave a thumbs up, reached out, and we hooked up and did a couple test videos and just hit it off. And
Beginning of a
here we are.
beautiful relationship.
Yeah.
So long ago.
Yeah.
But everything's been a learning process, and gear's always evolving, standards are always evolving. So
There we go.
trying to keep up with everything, you know? Appreciate the positive feedback.
It's been fun, dude. What's been your favorite shoot so far?
The Breck stuff was awesome. The Minority Mountain
You
Bikers
know you
stuff-
love the stuff in
was
Phoenix
awesome.
where Rich and I almost killed each other.
Phoenix was fantastic.
Don't talk about that right now. I knew you.
Yeah, I mean, all those. That's the cool thing about doing this stuff is being able to travel to all these other places that I would never have a chance to go to, because I've got a pretty packed schedule as is. So the only time I really get to ride is when I go cover an event.
So it's fun.
Yep.
Will you,
Chris is asking about camera gear.
Yes.
I just moved over to the Sony FX3. Prior to that, I was using some Fuji stuff, and that wasn't really up to snuff as far as some of the details that someone that's shooting would notice. I don't think too many of the viewers noticed some of the drawbacks, but it was kind of bugging me. Moved over to FX3 and haven't looked back, man. That's a pretty badass camera.
Yeah.
Where does that set with the A7 III's or whatever the
There, A7 III, A7 S3, and then FX3 is just a little bit higher. The FX3
Nice.
and the A7 S3 internally is essentially the same camera, but the FX3 has a different layout that's just more efficient when you're filming video stuff. Because that
Gotcha.
S3 is a stills camera that happens to shoot video. The FX3 is a video camera that happens to shoot stills. And the biggest benefit of having the FX3 is the audio module. This past weekend at Nebo, I was able to run 2 wireless mics, 1 shotgun mic, and 1 mic facing me for all the coverage that we did. So I had 4 lines of audio going into 1 camera without having to.
Does it have 4 tracks? Does it record on 4 tracks? Or
4 tracks, 4 separate tracks.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's hot shit.
So it was funny.
How much is that? How much is that camera?
The camera itself is $3,500.
It doesn't seem terrible, but then you got to add all the parts.
Yeah. Well, the next camera I want to get $6,500. So now we're getting there. Now we're getting up there.
I mean,
what is that?
Those are up there.
It's a Sony A1. It's basically 3 cameras in one. It's Sony's top tier portrait camera, sports camera, and video camera all in one body.
I think I'm going to get one. I need a vlogging camera. Hi. Mood.
Just vlogging with my A1, no big deal.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be the best vlogging camera.
No, I don't think so. But if I just want to be
so extreme,
I have a great camera. It was funny though because we had I had my mic, my lav mic on, and somebody else had the lav mic on, and so Andy would be doing different things, but he'd be hearing all of this stuff.
Dude, that was
he'd start laughing out of nowhere based on something I said across the field.
Yeah, I'd be interviewing somebody, and in one ear I could hear Rich, the other ear I could hear Ray. So I'm hearing him talking to somebody else, and I hear Ray drinking out of his bottle and breathing and trying to ask questions.
Just an audio assault
going on. Yeah, my brain was going pretty wild.
That's funny.
So, Andy, how about this, dude? For somebody who's trying to get into making video, what's the best advice you have for them?
I think the best advice is to start with what you have, and what everyone has is a smartphone. Get a smartphone, find some spots, find the kind of edits that you like, because there's all different genres. There's documentary style that are very slow paced, and then there's raw edits that are super fast. The cuts are here, and it's boom, 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 you're done.
Yeah.
Find out what you want to shoot, practice with the phone, and then learn how to edit, because the magic is in the edits. If you don't know how to edit, you could have the best footage in the world, and your final video is just going to suck.
So what app for the phone do you recommend for people to edit on?
If you don't want to spend money on anything, there's Adobe Rush and there's iMovie. Very, very basic. They have all the fundamental tools. You just can't do a whole lot of visual effects or anything like that. And the audio editing on it is not quite as in-depth. If you're willing to take a step into something a little more robust, there's an app called Lumafusion. It's only $20, and it's essentially Adobe Premiere Pro on your phone or on your iPad.
Yeah, so I have all those. I started with iMovie. I went into Adobe Rush, and dude, it was super unstable. It crashed on me all the time.
Yeah, Adobe's got an issue with stability sometimes.
Dude, it was crazy. And
I use Rush for shorts.
Yeah, if you don't do anything long, Rush seemed to work pretty well. But anything,
it's great for shorts.
I would do some long stuff, and it was interesting. But I'm trying to get Rob to just start doing more stuff on his phone. He's head in the clouds. He wants a full Hollywood cinema team.
I just want it to be good, man. I just want it to be good.
Well, something's better than good.
Yeah, start off with short edits, man. That's how you learn. Short edits. And
I have a ton of short. I think I have a lot of good stuff. I just posted it on Instagram. If I took some of that stuff and put it on YouTube, I think it would be worth watching. But I just hate to recycle stuff that way. I want to come out with new stuff.
That's cute that you think you have good stuff.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
So Andy, let me ask you this: what would you like to shoot? It could be something that we've shot, or something that we haven't. Is there something out there that you would like to do? Perfect world.
I think shooting something more along the lines of an experience piece would be really cool. If we could get some people on board to let us go explore new areas and just document that whole process and slow it down, the edit down, and make it more of a story with a lot of just beautiful B-roll, shallow depth of field and stuff like that. And then adding in the action pieces, tons of slow-mo, and just keep a pretty even keel. And
you can tell from what Andy just said, Jared. So you can tell from what Andy just said you're seeing it in the videos that he's creating lately, and you were pointing it all out.
The B-roll is mint.
Yeah.
We were talking about it.
And he's going there. And he's going there with or without you. He's going there. It's great. It's awesome.
Breck was a great experience, and I think something along the lines of, the Pacific Northwest, being in a place that's super lush. Any time of the day looks great.
Hey,
can't really find a bad setting.
Here's the 2022 calendar, and let's go to September. Now. Let's go to September. Oh, Bend, Oregon. We're going.
Gosh, booked out all the way to September 22.
Need to see some real loam, man.
We have the whole 2022 laid out. I don't know if it's going to work completely, but we're working on it, trying to make it happen. But it's fun now because I'm trying to let Andy kind of take the reins a little bit more with what the finished product looks like. And I'm trying to set shape perspective from the beginning of here's the elements that it needs to have. Mm-hmm. How we accomplish those, dude, I want you to take it. And I think we're starting to get in a place where it's kind of working. And I think Andy's getting more of an idea of what he wants out of things and then feeling more comfortable with what can he do.
Right.
Is that, you would agree with that, Andy?
Yeah. And that's usually the biggest hurdle when you're working with someone creative like that, because it's hard to convey what you see in your head visually as far as a final product.
As I've said before.
So I've had clients, in other fields say, hey, make it happy, make it airy. I'm like, what the hell does airy mean? Like, show me samples of what you want. Yeah. At least if I know exactly what you want, I have some sort of a foundation to go off. But if there's nothing and I can't connect with what you're thinking, it's just a lot of work to re-edit.
Yeah.
Give them a rough cut, and you spend another 5 hours having to change things because it's not what they were thinking. But I think we're in a good spot, and I've got a weird sense of humor, and there's been parts of other videos that I put in some funky bits, and I wasn't too sure if he was going to go for it, but he did.
Well, and that's part of it too. But very quickly, D. Alson, thank you so much for the super chat. Again, dude,
thanks, buddy.
And they pop up. Buddy. I love that. You're killing me, Smalls. That's the thing right there.
There he was. That was the.
It's funny because Jared was part of that. I think I wanted to make the videos, and I wanted the videos to tell the story. Well, then Jared in our communication says, dude, it's telling the story, but there are YouTube specific things that keep people's attention. Yeah. And when he pointed them out, they made sense. And a lot of it was just me not really watching a whole lot of YouTube. Mm-hmm. And so now I think you've taken those things and have brought them in. And I think it's endearing to people. It's a story more for them. They can kind of relate a little bit more. And it's funny, dude. The guns thing was great.
That was funny.
The color that you put on when we were in the boat on the Baker Creek thing was awesome.
Yeah.
The Breck video, when you just held on me tight at the end when I'm
that was perfect. Those little quirks, that's good stuff. That's gold.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone noticed on the Baker Creek video when you guys mentioned Jeff Lenoski and I threw up that picture of Jeff. I put a Ride Series logo on his shoulder.
I didn't notice that. I didn't see that. I didn't notice that. That's funny. Classic.
Oh, I love that.
I wonder if he saw it.
I don't think he did. I don't think Jeff Lenoski's watching our videos.
He should.
Yeah, well, the one at Windrock where I was looking up the hill and you kept the camera on me.
Yeah,
that was pretty good. That worked out nice.
Dude. Let it linger on you.
See what comes of it.
Oh, it's going to be gold. It's going to be gold all the time. So
that's usually some of the best stuff is when you just let it roll and something happens.
So then I think kind of what you said, we're hoping to capture some of that vibe in Sedona with the minority mountain bikers. So Jared, I don't think we've talked about this, but we did the clinic with the minority mountain bikers a while back here in Bentonville. We're going to do something similar with a smaller group in Sedona. So when they were,
I'm excited to meet some of those guys. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to be there in Bentonville.
Yeah, Harry is fired up, dude. He's and the crew that he's bringing. Harry talked about being at the Sedona Mountain Bike Festival, and him and two buddies, and they were the only black dudes there. Like, there was just no people of color to be seen, and he thought it was just shocking. He couldn't believe it. And so we're hoping to go back and just kind of shepherd those guys through, have a great time, and then have Andy capture some of that experience. And I think simply just make that something that's a little bit more normal. Like, people don't look at people of color on a bike and go, whoa, that's crazy.
And I've always assumed that it just wasn't something that they were interested in. But if it's because they don't feel welcome, I feel terrible about that. That's a bummer.
Well, I don't know. And that's part of it is you'll get to ask those questions and get those input. Some of those guys, I don't think feel like that, but I think there are some that do. And women. I mean, it's across the board. Like, you know, in this context, it's black men, but I think it's anybody who's just a minority across the board. And I told him in the beginning, I don't know what that's like. I won't pretend like I know what that's like. And so I think being able to make content and having Andy capture that whole experience and maybe getting insight from those guys will help people understand a little bit more. And, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, Harry talked a lot about some of the things that he hears from people about some of his friends saying, dude, why are you trying to do that white people sport? And so, dude, like, it goes both ways. And so it's an interesting thing. And hopefully we can make something that I think sheds a little bit more light on it somehow, some way.
Be a catalyst for change.
Yeah. Well,
I think it has benefits for everybody who participates. It's such a fantastic sport. I hate to think that anybody's left out.
For real.
Yeah. And as far as locally here, if anything came out of 2020 positively, the cycling community has grown tenfold.
Yeah.
And I am seeing a lot more different races of people on the trail now. Before, right now, North Shore is still one of the most popular trails, and you will see people of all sorts of different colors there now. Prior to 2020, it was predominantly white. But now you see Indians, you see Asians, you see blacks.
Just keep those purple people out of there. We don't want them.
Keep them at South Shore.
Yeah, I'm excited, and part of it too kind of dovetails off of this question. And yeah, Rob didn't start riding mountain bikes until he was 40.
That's correct.
And I didn't start focusing on it until I was in my late 30s. But I would argue that we were both already advanced bike riders at a very early age, and that just doesn't go away. When you develop that skill, when you're 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, that's something that gets set in. You know, we talk about the neural pathways and their development. When they're developing at that young age, that's something that's always going to stay with you, I think, especially if you just get on and nurture it and it never really goes away. Right. What do you think, Rob?
I think that's absolutely true. I had the benefit of racing motocross at a pretty high level. And so although I don't think it's a direct crossover, a lot of the skills that you utilize in that sport benefit mountain bike riding. So.
I would think the confidence rolls over too, like not being shocked when you're up in the air, you know?
Yeah, riding close to people, taking in data at a rapid rate. There was a lot of things that were beneficial. But I have to say, I really wish that I had started riding bikes sooner, because I know I could be way better than I am. And it's nice at this age to still be able to work toward improvement and to still be able to see improvement in myself. And that's thrilling for me.
Yeah. You started in the golden age, dude. Be glad you did.
Yeah.
I'm not joking, dude. I really believe that. Like, I wouldn't have wanted to start riding in my 20s because bikes were so bad.
I look back at the bikes I started riding on, and they're just junk. Like we were talking about this the other day, how people aspire and like covet these old motorcycles or old bicycles, and they're like rebuilding them, and I'm like, that thing needs to go in the garbage can. Just
For
jump.
sure, man.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny
let
to
it
me.
out. Yeah.
I was working at the
ride
bike
the
shop
new
in
stuff.
the early 2000s, and that's when the full suspension just started really coming out to market, right? And the only company that really had a grasp on it at the time I felt was Specialized. But you had the old Trek Y-frames and
Oh,
the
yeah.
twin homegrowns.
Remember
Dude,
the
you would ride
ProFlex?
those things, and every time you pedal, you'd go through the entire stroke of the shock. There was so much pedal bob.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
I hadn't quite figured it out at that point.
No,
yeah,
dude.
Chris has hit the nail on the head there with. I say that mountain bikes are the fountain of youth. It's the thing that keeps me young when it's not trying to kill me.
Yeah.
So it'll either prolong my life or it will end it abruptly. I'm okay with either.
But no in
What's so
between.
cool. What's so great is you can keep progressing.
Yeah.
Like you can keep getting better. And we're seeing a lot of people now, I think, mid to late 30s, mid 40s, even in their 50s, some even older now getting up on bikes, picking up bikes. And I think what's great is if you're set down the right path with some solid info to start, you can progress and be very proficient, have fun, and stay mentally and physically as healthy as possible.
Yeah, there are aspects of the riding as you get older that you need to kind of avoid, the things that are more high risk, but there's so much nuance that you can emphasize in the safer spaces to improve yourself. I just can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
Jared, dude, I'm excited for you to come out next week because I think when we just go ride, there'll be some on-trail things, like some gems that I can drop with you, and then you'll see them in practice, and I'm hoping that they'll resonate.
I hope so, dude.
And I can't wait for you to come out and visit me because all your wildest mountain bike dreams will come true out here.
We're gonna come. Christine has always wanted to travel out west that way anyway. So that just gives us the perfect reason to come out.
Dude, Jared,
Andy,
those rocks look a lot bigger in person, bro.
I was going to say, Andy, tell them how
legit
legit it is out here.
The rocks?
It is gnar. Oh yeah,
I believe you.
I
believe
see
you.
posting videos and stuff, and you don't get a sense of scale because most of the stuff's shot on GoPro or super wide angle. But then once you get up there in person, I'm just like, dude,
the waterfall is the best one. You get there, and you're just like, what?
Well, not even just the waterfall, but that main line. You're like, there's 9 different lines to get up.
I feel like that's how it
there's
is
10
anywhere.
now. There's 10 now. You're clearly not following me because I just found a 10th. Just found a 10th line.
Yeah.
So, Jared, when you come out, dude, are we going to film like some on-trail stuff?
I'm bringing everything. I mean, it's it's your call, man. I certainly want to, and I certainly want to cash in on the fact that I couldn't actually get my Ride Series clinic when I was there last time because it rained out.
So, dude,
but what you got was special.
No, it was. We had a great time,
admit.
man. I'm not complaining. I just want to get my my jumps dialed.
We'll do a little bit. I want to tell that story real quick for the 36 people that are watching. So Jared came out for a Ride Series clinic in Bentonville, and in that particular weekend, we had to cancel the event on Friday. So I wrote the email on Friday morning to cancel the event. I foolishly never hit send in Bike Reg. So Andy's not surprised. So Friday evening, we canceled the event. Well, we decide last minute what we're going to do. We're going to go to this place called The Hub because they have a big giant projector and Wi-Fi. So we're going to basically talk through a Ride Series clinic.
We're just going to go have a hangout.
We've never done this before.
It was cool.
So there's Jared who came in from Louisiana, not far. We had somebody come in from like Miami, upstate New York.
Yeah, you had people from
Pacific Northwest, San Diego, people from all over the country.
Vegas, I think.
Yeah, everybody shows up at the Hub, and we go through and we do this event, 3 hours just talking through like a symposium, if you will. And so we get done, and we talk to this gentleman for a while who came down. Great dude, had a professional bull riding training school for years. And he said, man, I got to tell you guys, that was world-class right there. Like, how long has it taken you to put that together? And Rob looks at me and he's like, well, we woke up at 7. It's we got here at 8. So I'm going to say about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And the guy was just laughing. So he's like, come on, really? I said, yeah, we threw it together and we talked about it. And since then we've talked more about it, and I have it a little bit more dialed. So when we have to do it again, we will. But Rob and I, we work with a lot of private coaching clients, and what we say when we download each of those sessions mostly is, the communication, the conversation is some of the most valuable in those interactions.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's awesome. So I'm excited for us to get that, but then to ride a little bit. And I think you'll dig it. So yeah, dude, have your cameras rolling, pump it up, tell everybody.
Trust me, everything will be charged and ready to rip. We're gonna have a good time.
Have cameras everywhere, dude. I want to look like Doc Emmett Brown.
Honestly, that's one thing I don't want to do, is have a ton of like GoPro strapped to me and be the guy who doesn't really know how to jump that well. It's pretty embarrassing.
No, be that guy. Just own it.
I'm gonna point that out a lot to everybody. I'll just like totally. He's a
this
YouTuber.
Guy needs my help.
He's a YouTuber. I'm coaching him. Rob, can you answer this one, and then we'll wrap this up, dude? We're over 90 minutes here.
So what I would say to that is, I'm a fan of the DW link. I don't have any time on the Switch Infinity, so I can't speak to that. But the Horst link, I never felt was as efficient as the DW, but on the newest Specialized stuff, they have figured out, I think through the kinematics of the linkage, how to make that thing really do what it needs to do. So I have kind of a new opinion of that setup, and it's really effective. I like it.
Yeah, you're talking the Stump Jumper Evo and how well it works.
The Evo. Yeah, the Evo is just a fantastic platform. I like technical climbing. Pivots are developed here. But I've always ridden bikes. I started on Niner, which they had the virtual arc, CVA. That's right. Constant virtual arc, I think it's called. It's a dual linkage vertical shot configuration, and that I thought worked tremendous. And then I went from that to Giant. Giant has the Maestro, which is a dual linkage rocker. I'm pretty sure that's a dual linkage. I don't think it's a single pivot. But it works really good. It works. It worked really good. I was happy with it. And then the pivots, the DW link for technical climbing, especially that last pedal stroke on a lift, it provides support that a lot of other configurations don't. And in certain circumstances, it doesn't matter. You don't really require that. But the kind of riding I do here and the kind of riding I prefer to do, it's necessary.
Yeah, that's very user dependent.
Yeah.
And that's part of it, though. That's a very interesting thing. And that's something that we've been trying to communicate for a long time.
Yeah, well, like the Fazari is a perfect example. If you match that to a Switchblade, it's a great bike. And there's places where it actually, I think, outperforms the Switchblade. But the one place that it doesn't deliver for me is on technical climbs. If you're going up something steep and it's got a lift in it, you need a platform on that last pedal stroke, and the Fazari's kinematics tend to soak that energy up. And there's other places that you ride where that characteristic is a bigger benefit. And so it's certainly a fair offset, but depending on that's kind of going to be what makes your decision.
Nice. All right, guys. I think, man, we started with Sarah on. We brought Andy in. I mean, this is just.
My headphone batteries just told me they're dead. So
yeah.
Oh, Jason Cole!
You got a super.
Yeah, Jason Cole with a super sticker.
J-Dog,
I love that.
The 10.
That's hero status right there.
Thank you, Jason.
You win a new car.
The 32 people that are still here. I appreciate.
Thanks for hanging in.
Yeah, you are troopers.
I have fun every time we do this. I really do.
It's always good.
Yeah,
Good
we got to
times.
bring Andy. We got to bring Andy in next time.
I'm
Make him a
around.
regular.
Yeah,
In the bottom left square.
Yeah, circle gets the square. Yeah, we'll do it again next time. I like the Jason. You're welcome, dude. Jason he came out. So he's no Insta Jason, Rob. I don't know if you know that. No Insta Jason. He's got a Coral Dune Fazari.
Hey now, Fazari.
Yeah,
I like it.
So yeah, he came down from Nashville He drove from Nashville to Nebo and spent the whole weekend, did every event. 101,
Nice.
201, 301 jump, did all of them.
He was
And he
ripping
was
it,
wrecked.
dude.
That's awesome.
He was wrecked, but yeah, he's a rad dude. So,
He looked like he was having a ton of fun on the hoppers.
oh, dude, he was having so much
He
fun.
is level 10 TRS certified.
So here's another one. Kyle, dude, I appreciate it. And he's another guy. I think let's try to get him lined out to get on.
He'll definitely come on. Me and Cobra are buddies. We get to ride together sometimes. He's awesome.
Yeah, so I met Kyle, Rob. I met him a while ago here in Bentonville, and he's a rad dude. And then this would be cool too, like Amy and Marcus. If you guys want to hop on, I know more Sarah. I think it might be cool to do just like a couples thing, you know?
I'd love to get Jen on here. I don't know how she feels about that, but I'll ask.
I'll have Sarah start working on it and we'll make it happen. So,
I bet
all right,
Christine would do it too if you wanted.
anybody, Jared, do you have anything that you want?
I
to
guess I'll
let
just
people know about?
briefly plug my channel here. For everybody that made it tonight, thanks for showing up, of course. If you haven't heard of me, my channel is Cure Cycling on YouTube. We are doing a contest right now where I'm giving away a brand new set of tires. So come try to win
Sweet.
some tires and check out some videos. You might learn something new.
Win a new set of tires.
Yeah.
Yes. And
So that's it for me.
then Andy,
Yes, sir.
Andy Pedal,
Pedal Any Pedal on Insta and YouTube.
Insta and YouTube. So you have a YouTube. Andy, do you have
YouTube.
videos? Do you have videos on your YouTube?
I got a couple vids
You got a couple?
on my tubes.
I have to say for Andy, I think Andy does a tremendous job on the product reviews he does. Some of the best I've ever seen. No shit. Like legit, Andy does great
Hey, no
product
BS.
reviews.
I need to
Matt,
carve
no
out
BS.
time to get some more done.
Sorry, no BS. Yeah,
I'm gonna
so
come check them out.
give his channel a look, and if he has reviewed a product you have an interest in, you can take to the bank what he says about it.
And be ready to buy
take it
it.
to heart myself. Yeah, either
No fluff
to be
here.
ready to buy or be ready to not buy.
I'm not afraid to hurt anybody's feelings if it's not up to snuff,
Absolutely,
I'll tell you.
very objective, and I appreciate it.
That's good.
That's why I'm trying to get Andy to do some product reviews on my channel because
Andy Lai is not bought and paid for.
yeah, don't paint that. I'm not bought and paid for.
I'm not bought and paid for, but I can be sponsored.
Yeah,
That's right, but I do have a prize.
I just happen to like bikes.
But I'm looking.
Rob,
I am available.
Rob, do you want to tell us about all the content you have coming, like you do on Instagram? My thoughts coming soon. Uh-oh.
Did he just pulled up the setup?
Don't
We
take
can't
that.
hear
Rob.
you.
He's muted. Yeah.
Is he talking?
You're muted, buddy.
You're muted. Mute.
What a perfect time for his
How's that?
earbuds to go out.
There you
There
go.
you go.
Sorry, my earbuds
Come
died.
back.
My earbuds died.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's not late. It's still soon. It's still coming soon.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm working on it. I got some new equipment on the way thanks to Jared's input. I'm gonna raise my level.
There's no level to raise. You can't raise what's not
Rich.
there.
Rob, don't take that.
Jared,
Look at that expression.
Jared, did he tell you or show you a picture of how much stuff he has?
No.
No, but Jared, you got a glimpse when we were in the green room here this evening when I kept going and getting products.
Oh
that
yeah. He when we were in the studio before the live start, he must have shown me a
For everybody that's
Few
there,
$1,000 worth
34
of stuff.
people, see you 34 people, please just hound Rob on Instagram and tell him, please put your content on video.
Go subscribe to my YouTube channel. If I get 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, I'll start putting out product on a regular basis. How's that?
Dude, we can do that. That's easy. Yeah, done. I'll start posting everywhere to get, I mean, I have to be able to help you do that. You're like 800 now, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah.
I thought you were going from 0 to 1,000. I was like, dang.
No, I wish I could get that number.
No, he's at least fleeced 800 people.
You have
by
800
his
subs,
Instagram.
dude.
His
Come on, my
Instagram.
old content has got value. People appreciate it.
I'm just trying to go over the top, dude, to get you fired up. At least when I come out, We're going to do, yeah, Casey just subbed, dude. You're one person closer.
Sick.
Hey,
Thanks,
here,
Casey.
dude. Listen to
Thank
Mark.
you for your support.
Never let perfect get in the way of good enough.
Thank you, Marcus. I share that sentiment. It's just a struggle. I wish I could explain how much effort I've put in that when I reviewed it, I just wasn't satisfied with it. I didn't.
Gosh, you should see some of my early videos. I just started pressing record, man. My first videos suck.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
dude, that's all relative.
Here's the
Like-
thing with the videos, man. It's you put the work in and you make the cut and you never finish. You never finish a project as far as creatives go. You just run
Right.
out of time because you have to
You're
move on
always
to the next one.
Yeah, but here's the thing with Rob. It's not so creative though. That's the thing is I think he's caught up in creative and production value. And all we need is the sound. For you, all we need is the sound, dude. We just need to hear what's going on.
Well, and Jared gave me a tip that he said Seth of Seth Bikes Hacks put out basically said
Who?
the video needs to support the audio.
Yeah.
Or the video needs to support the audio. So focus on the audio and then bring supporting video. And I never considered it that way. But
Right. Yeah,
Audio
that
is
was
the most
something he
important
said in
thing.
an interview.
Yeah, and the YouTube stuff, audio is the most important thing. There's a
Mhm.
couple reviewers that I watch on occasion because they get their hands on the stuff first, but their audio is so bad that I'm just like pulling my hair out the whole time. I've got the video up.
And there are YouTubers that are successful that all they do is they'll record an audio track and then just smother the whole timeline with B-roll and the video does well
Yeah.
because they have good audio.
Yeah, well, especially I sent you one recently, Rob, in our space, dude. Oh my God, it's amazing some of the stuff that does well. Like,
yeah, I had watched that previously, actually before I even got my bike, just to see what was out there, and I had the same reaction as you.
Hey man, you got a very distinct voice too. You could be the next Morgan Freeman or the Morgan Freeman of MTV.
I am the Morgan Freeman of bicycles, my friend. Welcome to another Rob Drew review.
But that's the thing is, don't try to be anything you're not. Oh, we lost Andy.
Look, I knocked it down.
Don't try to
all
be
the
anything
bass.
you're not. I think that's the most important piece. Is you try to sometimes I think be a little polished. And I told him, Jared, and you can give me your input on this, but dude, and Andy too. I told him, set the camera up and talk. And like he has these moments where he's like he's trying to figure out exactly what to say. I love that.
Here's the thing, Jared, that you may not know about me. I have had multiple traumatic brain injuries. And the thing that I have lost is word retrieval. And so I struggle with it. Sometimes there's a word I want to say that accurately describes my thoughts. And it's like I can see it, but I can't get it.
Grab it.
Yeah, and so I struggle with it a lot. And when Rich and I are working together, he's aware of the problem. And so he can step in and cover for me while I try to work it out. But when I'm by myself, it's quite troubling.
Yeah. Well, the good thing with YouTube is that you can cut the troubling parts out. You just chop it out. Yeah, like with the takes I do, I have to gut them. Like some of the, sometimes I'll record myself in front of the camera for 16 minutes, and after I cut it up, it's only 10.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's thankfully I have geniuses like Andy and Brock who
they're great.
They can fix a lot of that stuff in post.
It's not easy work, man.
No.
Takes a lot of time.
I try to keep it as simple as possible. Like, especially when it comes to the bike stuff, I keep it as simple as possible. And if I contradict something later, I don't hide from that. I come back and go, I'm changing my opinion now because what I thought then isn't what I think now. And you know what? It's my opinion. So if you don't like it, fine.
Yeah.
And I think with the bike stuff, that's what it comes back to. But just so many of the things that you say and the way you look at it, that perspective, it needs to get out there. And I think there's too many people that don't have the original thought that you do. And they're not as critical about certain things as you are. And there's a lot of people that they'll latch onto something for whatever reason. And then they'll put that out. They'll disseminate that. And then somebody else gets it. And it's all these people saying things that there's not really anything original. And we've talked about this, dude. They get all the phrases in there. It's poppy and playful and this and that. And like some of them are very blatant with the marketing terminology and some of them aren't. They mask it in their own language, so to speak. And I just, the way you say it, like head tube angle, the way you talk about head tube angle, you can't argue with it. And that's what I love is you don't state opinions blindly. You state opinions and you bring in engineering and physics to back them up. And that's not something like that dude that I sent you that video of. That guy's not doing that.
Yeah.
And it's nothing personal against that guy. He's not a good writer, first off. And there's not the in that scenario, the opinion of somebody who's not collectively a solid writer, I don't think it has much place personally. And
yeah, I don't disagree. I certainly wouldn't buy a bike off his recommendation.
Yeah.
Dude, will you guys stop talking about my channel? I can hear you.
Oh, sorry, Andy. I forgot you were still there.
No, they're talking about mine, buddy. It's okay.
No, dude, I got a Polygon on order. I got to ride one of those bikes, Jared.
I mean, mine's your size. I just don't have clipless pedals on it.
Yeah, that's not acceptable. We'll save that one for next time.
I'll just bring some clipless pedals.
I will, definitely. All right. I think that was pretty fun, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Good
Another
times.
successful one for the books.
Yeah,
Good times.
almost 2 hours. All right, Andy. Hopefully, actually, yeah, we got to get done because Andy's got videos to edit.
I love you, Andy.
Got about 12 to go.
He's quick though, and they're good. So
No, they are mint, dude. You're doing great work. I love it.
Thanks, guys.
I'm pretty excited for the Delano long-term review to come out because it was fun because everybody knew what I was going to say because I've been saying it for a year and a half. But dude, we got that montage of riding clips. Jared, I don't know if I've sent it to you.
No, the last one you sent me was the one you premiered tonight. So if there's anything beyond that,
dude,
that's just a product of being where
Please
we
share the
were.
montage.
Dude.
It's just so gorgeous.
Well, there was that one
I'm ready
amazing
to see
drone
it.
shot. There was this really amazing drone shot. I'm trying to remember who directed. Oh, I came up with that shot. Wait till you see this drone shot that I envisioned. Okay, all Andy did.
it came
All
to you in
Andy
a
did-
dream.
All Andy did was hover the drone there.
Just
I
push
made
buttons. That's
everything
all I do. I'm a professional button pusher.
Yeah, dude, the amount of
Pretty
time
good
I
at
had to
it.
climb back up and down this mountain, side door trail in Breckenridge. Oh, dude. When we got done, I was wrecked, but it was
worth it. It sounds like.
It's cool. We got some good shots. Yeah. All right.
Rich, I meant to tell you, since I've started posting stuff of Jen in my feed,
Yes.
she started to pick up some fans. And when she's out on the trail, people are like, "Oh,
What's
hey,
up, Jen?"
Drew." It's hilarious.
So yeah, Casey, do that every time. I'll try to end it multiple times. So,
Just make sure you're not
New
drinking
drinking
something too strong, buddy.
yeah. I'm not sure what it is. We got to get Rob playing that game because as much of a lightweight as I am, Rob is even lighter.
Oh, forget it.
And maybe we'll do that, dude.
Pass out.
Maybe we'll have like when we do one where we have a cider or two, and actually no, we probably
That would get so horrifying. I
That
can't.
would get bad.
We have a kind of what would come out of my mouth.
Andy would be fine. Andy's a seasoned drinker. He's pretty pickled.
Yeah, but I've got ADD, Asian drinking disorder, so it doesn't really take that much to get me going. My face gets all gloss red. I look like an apple. I'm a happy
Oh,
drunk
my
though, so
goodness.
it could be fun.
Yeah, I'm the same way, dude. My lips start to get numb, and I'm telling you, dude. I think this is a good idea.
We're on to something.
Yeah.
We're on to something. We'll talk about it at another time.
My
All right,
lips
fellas,
are already
Casey.
uncomfortable.
Have a good night.
See you guys.
Good night,
Peace
guys.
out.
Later,
Peace
everybody.
out, dumpers. Later.